Good morning, beautiful rainbow-colored Unity lights.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So I'm wondering how compassionate you've been this week. Have you been selfless? How are you loving today? Are you loving your true colors? Are you loving the colors that you've bumped up against this week? I'll tell you a secret about myself. I tend to prefer the colors that are on the same color palette as me, and I struggle with those that clash. Maybe that's true of you too. And yet, the world does make us crazy at times. People do get on your last nerve, and sometimes it seems like everybody has a different opinion, right? Luckily for us, we are born with these spiritual abilities within us that we can call forth in times just like those. The power for this month is the power of strength. Now, strength has several characteristics, and this morning, as we talk about love in action, we're going to talk about the stabilizing force of strength. Reverend Linda Martello-Whitsitt describes the stabilizing power of strength as centered, calm, balanced, rooted, anchored, secure, safe, sturdy, yet flexible. When we call forth that divine power that we have of strength as a stabilizing force, it is that part of us that remains calm and centered when someone difficult to love crosses our path. It is also that power within us that steps forth when we feel like we're being criticized or judged, and we can bend and sway, but we know who we are is who we are. It is also that balancing part of us as love in action when we not only embrace our differences, but we seek common ground. It is about not being colorblind, but being color appreciative. I saw a YouTube video that someone sent me this week, beautiful YouTube video, that I was really struck by it talking about how race is a label and how being different is a label. And although that is true, I think that it's better to be color appreciative, to appreciate your brown hair, to appreciate my gray, my plump body, your thin frame. That it's better to be appreciative of all of the ways that we are different. Because you see, it is our true colors that weave together this beautiful tapestry we call life. And so this morning, as we talk about love in action, I want you to think about how you can more fully embrace differences and start to let go of the criticism and judgment that you have of yourself and of other people because of their differences. So I went down the toboggan run yesterday, and I screamed the whole way, and I loved it so much I did it again. So I may have to take a sip of tea every now and then. I think I forgot that I was going to have to talk this morning. My 3-year-old granddaughter, Devin, you'll appreciate this. My 3-year-old granddaughter gave me a concert on Christmas, and she sang True Colors to me. And I have to admit, she was way better than Justin Timberlake, Anna, or Cyndi Lauper. But you know, I never have stopped. I've sung that song for years. I was a big Cyndi Lauper fan back in the day. And I never really gave it much thought. Like, I just never really gave it much thought until I'm coming back on the plane in San Francisco, and I had a chance to actually watch the movie Trolls. Now, Trolls has this overarching theme of happiness is within, but it also has this beautiful underlying theme about how we are all individual expressions. We all have our very own unique colors, and that when we can embrace that, true happiness is possible. I know, like I know, that each and every one of us is an expression of the one power and the one presence. That we are the hands, the feet, the eyes, the ears, the voice of God right here, right now. What happens to me, though, is that I also know that we each express that in our own unique ways. And as a spiritual being having a human experience, I struggle with that at times, particularly when you don't load the dishwasher the way I think it should be loaded. I bump up against those differences. I forget. And so right now is a great opportunity for me to ask for forgiveness. And in turn, I will forgive you. Now, before your head goes to this place of, what did I do to offend her? How could I possibly have offended Reverend Glenda? And some of you that know me a little better are going, oh my gosh, what did she do? But in our time together over this last 9-10 months, I've talked to you about forgiveness several times. For me, forgiveness is a spiritual practice. Forgiveness allows us to move back into alignment with our true nature. We are not meant to harbor resentment. We are not meant to be miserable. We are meant to be happy. We are meant to be loved. We are meant to love. And so forgiveness moves us back into alignment with our true nature. And it also adds that stabilizing force of love. You see, when we can forgive, it's easier to be calm and centered. When we can forgive, it's easier for us to find balance in our lives. And it urges us, this practice, to give for. To give up criticism, judgment, resentment, demands, to give all of that up for appreciation, acceptance, seeing with our spiritual eyes that Susan talked about. And so this morning, ask yourself the question, what are you willing to give for in order to experience love, in order to be love in action? So in the movie Trolls, there are the Bergens. They're the villains. They're ogres. They're ugly. And they're really grumpy. Very unhappy people. And they value sameness. The same color. The same behavior. The same belief system, which is that the only way I can be happy is to eat a troll. I wonder how many of us are sitting here today that are Bergens in disguise. And then we have the trolls. So the trolls are these little happy creatures. They come in all shapes and sizes. They come in all different colors. But you know, even the trolls have a difficult time accepting that one troll. That troll that is kind of dark and kind of gloomy and is the pessimist of the bunch. How often do we avoid the Debbie Downers, the grumpy Garys? How often do we criticize, do we judge others because they don't think like we think? They don't make the decisions that we make. They don't do things the way we do things, even in an effort to be helpful. And how often when someone is criticizing us, judging us, do we want to be defensive instead of seeing the call for love? Last week I read a quote from Marianne Williamson, which basically says that every behavior is one of two things. It is either love or it is a call for love. So you see, whether we are the ones criticizing, judging, directing, or whether we are the ones standing in the presence of a critic or a judge, it's all a call for love. It is a call for love that is hidden by our deepest fear. Our deepest fear that somehow I am unlovable. We all have it. Some of us to a greater degree than others. That it's like as much a part of us as the color of our hair. This belief system that we are unlovable. And so this morning, I challenge you to forgive. To forgive yourself for that belief. To forgive others for that belief. To give up that belief, or at least loosen its hold on you for the truth that you are beloved. Over and over in the Bible, we read the words, my beloved. Beloved. It's one of my favorite terms of endearment, beloved. Because it is a reminder to be loved. You see, the one purpose, the one thing that anchors us is the knowingness that we are loved and we are to be loved. That there is a power and a presence and energy that loves us beyond measure. That loves us without condition, that loves us beyond our human comprehension. Why? Because we are that. Because we are of that same essence. Just as the DNA of your mom and your dad and your uncles and your great-grandmother are in you, so is the Creator in you. So is that a part of your makeup. So you see, if that creative energy is love, how could we possibly be anything less than that? Beloved. Beloved you are. So in the movie, our trolls have to give up their fear of being eaten. They have to give up their fear of the Bergens for an understanding, for an awareness that the Bergens just want to be happy, just like the trolls. And the Bergens have to give up this belief system that they have, that happiness is somehow out here, for the truth that happiness is always in here. And the two of them have to overcome the obstacle of their beliefs, the obstacles that get in the way of them seeing the sunlight of the Spirit. And instead, they have to choose to build bridges. We have that same challenge every single day. Do we look at the obstacles to loving someone, them being difficult, them not being agreeable, them being different? Or do we choose to be love in action to build a bridge? Early in my days in Unity, I had come from another spiritual community in Colorado. And the teachings, I won't say, were different. At their core, they were the same, but they were definitely different. And the way that we were in community with each other was different. And I remember Jane and I took our very first class together, a prayer class. And at the break, she says to me, no, not quite like that. She says, how can you translate what these guys are saying into what we already believe to be true? Like, how can you make that connection? And I shared with her that at the beginning of that class, when we were in meditation, I'd had a vision. And in that vision, my guru, Saima, had taken me to this beautiful crystal rainbow-colored bridge. And she had pointed to the bridge and she had said, "This is you." I have come to understand deeper and deeper meanings of that vision. Like, it was not only a call for me to be a minister, but to understand that I was a bridge. That my job, what I'm here for, is to be the bridge, to love. To help people see that there is indeed a Christ light within them. To help people realize that they are beloved. And what I've come to understand most recently is that all of those colors that exist in the rainbow exist in me. Because all of you are a part of me. Everything that you can be, I can be. Pleasant and unpleasant. That indeed, although we are all colorful expressions of this Christ light, we came from the same source. We're one. And so do we choose to look for the obstacles to love? Or do we choose to build a bridge to love? This morning, I am willing to give. To give my attitude, my belief system that anybody should be anything different than what their true colors are, including me. I don't know about anybody else, but I have a loud inner critic. She is willing to tell me everything I've ever done wrong at any given moment. And when I hear that critic, it is up to me to remember I'm calling for love and to look for where there is love in my life. Where is there love? How am I divinity? So today, I'm willing to give that up for the truth that we're all the same light from the same source that created us. It's all the same. What, my friends, are you willing to give for this morning? Will you join me in being love in action as we weave together a beautiful tapestry of our true colors? Namaste.